Hey, I'm Carey. I'm here on Spot On Music TV, and I'm an artist from North Augusta, South Carolina. Attended USC in the mid-2000s, was a music degree major, and I left school, which is a good idea to stay in school, but I left and went and toured the US and just played clubs, playing my songs, and put out a new album called Baby Don't Look Down. It's on iTunes. You can find me under Carey Murdock, and moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I'm based there now, and I'm in town for a show at the White Mule. Play it fairly often, and that's what I do. I'm a songwriter. Yeah, well, I started playing music in my church band, and I remember being on stage, and they had all these guitar players up there, and in fact, after sitting up there about a month, I figured out that they didn't turn my guitar on, so it must have been pretty awful. But anyhow, I just wrote songs because nobody else in the groups I was in did, and I guess I haven't gotten a lot of stuff thrown at me, so I guess it's all right. Although I've always wanted to play at one of those bars with the wire in front of you, and then see how much I can get thrown at me. That'd be cool. Playing solo with the band is a different dynamic, but I like doing both. Just because when I'm solo, I can really. It's usually just the performance is usually kind of more intimate to me, and I can kind of where you can kind of stop a song in the middle and make a joke if somebody like falls over a chair, or I don't know, or and it's kind of more like a storyteller setting for me, playing solo shows, and like a living room setting. And then when the band comes in, like I have the saxophone player and the organ player, and it's just a big kind of a party at that point. And so, which is just fun because I just, we just have too much fun on stage. So it's like, some nights you want to go out, some nights you just want to chill more. So it's kind of like that with the shows. I'm really inspired by traveling. And so like if you check out the new CD, I can go list song by song and tell you like what city I was in where the idea struck me or where I wrote the song. Like I wrote Traveling Road in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Silver Girl I wrote in Louisville, Kentucky, and Don't Look Down in Dallas, Texas. I remember writing Gambler on May 2nd of last year on my typewriter in Atlanta. It's for some reason being on the road and just being around people and settings change and the seasons change, it just flicks a switch and I just start writing. I was on this big tour in summer last year and I came home with all these songs on legal pads and like on my iPhone on the recorder, and sat down with the studio and my producer Pat Blanchard in Augusta, Georgia, and just started going through these songs. And I thought I was going to do like acoustic guitar record, like a la Ryan Adams' Heartbreaker. And he would just walk in the studio every day. He would take a guitar off the wall and hand it to me and say, "Show me what you got." And so I'd just sit there and we'd go through songs. And if he got real excited about a song, he would just start running around the studio, and he would be like, "All right, we got the acoustic guitar down," and within 3 hours, he'd put drums, bass, guitar on top of it. And that's kind of how we just rolled with the album. And so it really wasn't, it was more like a stint in the kitchen where you just have a bunch of stuff and you know you're going to make a meal, but you don't really know what it's going to turn out to be. It's like, let's throw this in there. And it turned out to be a very kind of, when people ask me what it sounds like, it's not just rock or pop. I mean, there's country punk on there, there's the Van Morrison beach music thing, there's folk, there's rock and roll, there's ballads. So it kind of turned out to run the gamut of American music. And one of my favorite songs, I wrote this song that I had in mind, and I was like, it's a duet, and I had to get Carrie Ann Hurst to sing on it. And she's this fabulous chanteuse from Charleston, South Carolina, and I went down to Charleston and she recorded the duet with me there. It's called Young Love, and that's one of my favorite songs on the record. Just how that came together from the piano and to kind of turning out how it ended up, it's cool to watch the songs grow. People often ask when they hear a song or a songwriter whether you wrote the lyrics or did you write the music first or the words? For me, it's different every time. Some songs will come out in like 15 minutes, and others, like you agonize over for a year. And sometimes you have a melody and no words, and sometimes you just have a line that hits you and you're like, man, we gotta make this a song. My favorite type of shows to play are like house concerts where like a bunch of friends just like, hey, let's get like a glass of wine or some food over, like a potluck dinner, and we just have somebody come over and play guitar and listen. And so I do that a lot. Like I have friends in Charleston or Clemson or whatever, and I go up there and do like a show in their living room, and that's just a blast. That's my favorite kind of show to play. And that's the kind of songs I like to write too. Songs that you can play with a band or play around a campfire, you know. So it's cool, and I think, I go around. What's really funny to me is how many bands from like Seattle and like Los Angeles try to be the Allman Brothers and try to be Southern artists. I just think, I just have to say, man, I'm sorry you're not from the South.